What I am about to show you is going to completely change the way you deliver the mail. And it is a right-hand drive pedal kit. I'm going to show you how to install it on near about any vehicle, starting with this one right here. Mailman Mechanic here, Brian, and I'm finally going to do a video that many of you have been asking for, and that is converting a vehicle to right-hand drive. Now, working back on this vehicle, first thing you want to do is move the seats all the way back, the front two seats all the way back, because you're going to want to be able to have as much room as you possibly can. So move them all the way back, especially if they got an electric motor, because you're about to disconnect the battery, because you're going to have to disable the airbag system. Now, I'm just being overly cautious. Probably don't have to unhook the battery to, take the fuse out of the airbag system and start disconnecting stuff, but I do not want the chance of any kind of electrical current coming through that airbag system and my face being in front of it. So on this vehicle, and on all vehicles that has an airbag system, you find a fuse box. This one is here, and it is where is it at? Airbag fuse right there. And so it will be number 15 on this one. So I will go ahead and take the fuse out, and then I'm going to, unhook the battery. There. Okay, so the airbag system theoretically is disabled, but I want no current running through it at all. That should have cut the current off, but just to be on the very safe side, I'm going to disconnect the battery so we don't have any surprises. And here's the kit. Brake pedal kit. Here's your brake and your gas. And that when you hit the brake or the gas, it travels through the cable, pulls the gas pedal. And I'll show you how to set this up. And the brake pedal over there. And it comes with all the mounting hardware that you're going to need. So pretty cool kit. I've been using it for several months now and not had one issue. As you can see, I have the pedal kit on the passenger side where all the work happens. I got it about where I think it's going to need to be. I need to find a relatively flat surface. Now I can mount this flat just like this, but then it is really close to the seat. And my coworker, he's a large guy. He's really tall. So I know I'm going to need to push this up as far as I can. So that's why I had it pushed back here, a bit of an angle, which is not going to hurt anything. And I'm pushing it back as far as I possibly can. And I think that's about where it's going to be. Make sure it is straight. And let me see if I can't get it any further back. And that's about it. And I can do that because I can, it's not, none of this moves right here. This is just support. This does all the moving right here. And so I think I got it about where it needs to be. Gas, brake, gas, brake. And the neat thing about this kit, it doesn't take all this room up like some of the kits do. I can go ahead and I still have room for my left foot. A lot of the kits that you buy online, they got all this metal stuff and pulleys and stuff, and where you're going to put your left leg. I guess you're a one-legged mailman. So, I like this really well. And like I said, I've used it for months and there's been no issues at all. So right now I'm going to take the screws, the sheet metal screws that it came with, they're self-tapping, and I'm going to go ahead and put about 2 or 3 in here, just so, I think it'd be good to go. Now, a good thing to do is to try to see if there's anything underneath. I know there's padding, there should be metal. I looked underneath the vehicle. Let me get down here. And just to kind of get an idea of what I'm about to drill into. And there's all kind of room underneath here, which makes it really nice. So that kit is roughly right about here. And that's where the catalytic converter is and the frame. And I've looked and there's nothing. Even if that screw was to make it all the way through, there's still plenty of air gap between that is not going to do any damage. All right, I got it just about started. Let's see how it's gonna do. Okay, nice and snug. So now I'm gonna put one on this side and just try, get it here so I can mount the other end. And as you can see, I have installed another one. Now I got room for 4 more here, and once I put all those down, I mean, right now it's pretty snug. It wiggles a little bit, but once I add these 2 over here, it won't. But right now, that's where I'm gonna leave this, let it be, because I'm gotta work on the other side. And if I need to move this in any way, I don't want to drill too many holes in the floor. Now on the driver's side, or what would be the driver's side, the instructions say take these 2 brackets, these 2 pieces of metal here. You're going to notice that they have a bunch of pre-drilled holes all the way around it. Now on the gas pedal has this cutout groove right here. This one doesn't. This one's a little bit wider. This is going to be for your brake. And back out a little bit. There we go. This is going to be for your brake. And this is where you're going to mount all the screws into. This right here, that right there, depending on how you need it, which is going to be this way on this one, you take this, mount it right here, and run it through 2 of the holes here. The cable is going to run through the top here and come out. So I'm going to mount this, and they provide you with the screws, or the bolts, excuse me. And this is already drilled in here for it to receive it. So there's no nut going to be on the back side. It just screws right in there. All right, now the way this is going to work, here's the gas one. The gas one basically looks like a U shape with this peg sticking on the side. The cable is going to go through this peg. There's a hole there, and then you take this nut with a couple of washers that's already installed and basically sandwich that wire there when you get it where you want it. Now the best place I found for it is likely going to be right on top of the gas pedal. And you slide this, you may have to adjust this a little bit, slide it down over the gas pedal where the pad actually is, the gas pedal pad. It's kind of difficult doing this with one hand, but you want to get it on there, slide it down, and then torque this down. Not overly torque, because you don't want to, strip the bolt, but just get it nice and snug. You don't want this coming loose while you're driving down the road. And then the brake pedal is going to be very similar. Now on the brake pedal, you don't go on the pad. It's got this unique design like this, reinforced. You're going to want to stick it out this way. And so this will mount over the metal coming down to the brake. I'm going to try to do that right now. I'm going to have to back off the bolt. All right, and then on my vehicle, the last one I did, you want it down as low as you can so you get as much leverage as you can. Now I'm gonna tighten these down, and I'll show you the next step. So you slide it on here where you need it, and then this is a 13mm wrench, and you just torque it down. Now the gas pedal may be a little, catawampus, a little bit not level, but it's because the way the brake pedal is designed. So I'm just going to tighten this down. And the neat thing about this is once you get this installed, you can go ahead and keep driving on the normal side when you're not delivering mail. So I really like this kit because of that possibility. Get this side on. The brackets are nicely bolted down to the gas pedal and the brake pedal. And this one's a little bit crooked, but it's not too bad. It's just because the way the plastic is on the back. I am ready now to put this roller bracket on. You're going to take your cable. Now this is the brake side. You're going to fish it through this hole right there. You're going to fish it through the hole. And then you're going to take your second nut that you took off already and slide it on. Now that's probably the trickiest part about it. Hold that nut there and route the cable underneath the roller and out. Slide this whole bracket up and feed it through the hole on that cable. And then you're going to take your nut and attach it. You want this firmly attached to this bracket. There. And on these nuts are 12 millimeter. So I got two 12 millimeter brackets. I mean, brackets. Two 12 millimeter wrenches. One on top, one on the bottom. And you just tighten it till it just won't tighten. And then make it nice and snug there. Okay. Now, here's an important part of this. And I got to get it just right. Okay. You want this bracket where this cable comes up. You're going to feed it through between these two copper washers. I'm going to get that lined up. I'm going to feed it through the back side. Get in there. Come on. I got to get a little closer to see what I'm doing. There it goes. And then you're going to tighten down. I'm going to just kind of do it hand tight. Okay, now here's the thing. You want this bracket to be a little, notice how this cable is straight right here? See how it's straight? But whenever it pulls, it's going to pull this way. So you want it to go a little further back than straight, kind of an angle like that. And you want it to be as straight as possible as you can get it. And that's where I'm going to put a couple of screws here to hold this down. So get my tool ready. You want to go through metal. And I'm going to go ahead and I may take one more look to make sure I got this straight. See, I had to move it just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do one up here. And now, you may, like I just said, I didn't really get metal that well. I'm going to go ahead and put another one here. That's why they give you so many options to try to get to hit, you know, do a purchase on metal. That one definitely did. So, I mean, that's snug right there. I can go with that, but I'm going to go ahead and put another one further down. Hopefully, I can get into some metal. And it broke. Did it break? No, it's just my drill. Okay, it's got metal. So I know this bottom one, I can get some metal. So I'm going to take my other screw here and go into metal there. Okay, it's there. It's going to move just a slight bit, but this is some strong metal here, so it's not gonna, nothing's going to happen. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to get a pair of pliers and I'm going to put a good amount of tension on here and I'm going to tighten this down. Okay, without depressing the pedal here, you know, I want the pedal to be where it's at. I'm pulling on it, just making it, you know, taut. And here's a 13 millimeter wrench and I'm going to tighten down. Okay, you see they're still slack there. Now watch, I'm going to go on the other side and I'm going to hit the brake and you're going to see this pull the brake pedal down and then it'll automatically come back. Ready? See the brake pedal moving? Great. So that's working. Okay, I want to show you this. You're going to notice that that bracket's going to bend up a little bit. Now, what I can do is I can come back with the screw, the drill, and drill a hole right here and get an extra long screw. I can go buy the auto parts tomorrow. This is about a 2-inch screw, maybe 1 3/4 inch. I can get one that's about a 1/2 inch or even an inch longer, probably a 1/2 inch longer. And I'll come through here on the top and give it one more purchase point onto the metal because I want to show you what happens when you push really hard. See the metal lifting up just a little bit? And I mean, that's normal. I mean, The only reason is pushing that hard is because, you know, she's giving it everything she's got. But normally you're not going to have to push that hard. But to make it safer, I'm going to drill a hole right here, and then I'm going to take an extra long screw and go give it one more place to bite down, and probably a couple more screws here as well. But that's the brake, and the gas pedal will be very similar, except with the gas pedal, you're going to want to be directly underneath it, okay? So I'll show you that in a second. A few days later, and I have my gas bracket installed, the pedal kit. And if you notice, I have this at an angle. And the reason is, on this vehicle, do you see this chunky, beefy gas pedal here? Probably the beefiest one I've ever seen. If I was to set this gas pedal bracket straight, like I did on the brake, then when I mash the gas pedal over there, it would actually make contact with the bracket and you wouldn't be able to do anything. So I just got it to where it was just enough turned over to where it would clear the bracket. So it's not in the way at all. But the main thing I wanted to show you is, I said you want this gas pedal for the least resistance to have this pulley directly under the nut that you tighten the cable through. And you can tell it is like directly under, almost a 90 degree. And so that offers the least resistance. So yes, this thing is at an angle, but it is perfectly still centered with this. So this is not going to be an issue. And I also want to show you that on the brake pedal, I went ahead and added 3 more screws. I drilled this one, put it in. It's like a really long screw. I got that one in there and added these 2 right here, more than what they gave me. And now if you're on the other side and you mash the brake pedal real hard, this doesn't even move. I mean, barely anything. And normally whenever you hit the brake, you're not going to go all the way down that far. That's just like an emergency. So this bracket doesn't even move now. So good deal. And now they don't give you a nut for this. I don't know why, but I noticed this right here. You see this stud sticking out? It's threaded and it has a little hole right here. So you take your extra cable, brake cable, and you run it through that hole, which is a little difficult. But anyway, you'll run it through that hole, and then you'll find a nut that will go over that, torque it down. It just kind of added insurance, because this gets a lot of pressure, and if you're trying to stop, you don't want to risk having this slide out. So I don't know why they don't supply a nut to go over this. You just have to find one that works. It's not a absolute, but it's just added insurance. And then on the gas pedal, you notice there is no extra stud. I mean, you lose your gas pedal, which it's not going to happen. You tighten this down enough, it's not going to come off. But all I do on this one is normally just put it behind it, tape it down with some black electrical tape or something, or you can cut it off right there. But I like to just leave it, because when you start cutting wire, it'll start spraying out like this. You see this one right here? So it's best not to cut it, because if you cut this one over here, it'll just unwind and it'll just be a pain. So I'm gonna just bend this one back, and I will probably tape it to the back of this beefy pedal here, and it'll stay out of the way. So Mailman Mechanic, thank you for watching. This is part 1. This concludes part 1 of the conversion kit. In a few days, I'll have part 2 released, where I fabricate the steering to go on this side. You can see I'm already working on it. So you'll see that in the next video. So Mailman Mechanic, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. See you at the mailbox.